this Kajiado issue, how many are still pending to be paid across the country in terms of compensation, where way leave has been sought by Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, so that we can know how many as per the country and how many people's affected persons have not been compensated. And maybe on to addition, Mr. Speaker, since it's the same question, on budgetary constraints, the CS has not given us a commitment that now we are doing budget policy statement. Did he present before the budget committee of the National Assembly through the Energy Committee, the parent committee in the National Assembly, so that people who are waiting under that issue of transmission of way leave compensation can be compensated, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Senator Faki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is to inquire whether I understand the government is building an oil refinery in Tanga, in the Republic of Tanzania. Yet, in Mombasa, we are leasing our refinery, which has been there since independence. We are leasing it to a Nigerian company without the participation or public participation of the people of Mombasa. Could the minister explain under what circumstances the government is investing in another country rather than investing in Mombasa, where it will be cheaper to upgrade the refinery than to build a new refinery altogether in another country? Thank you.
Honorable Faki, that is not a supplementary question because it's not related to the primary question. However, CS, if in a position to respond to it, you may. If you're not, you may undertake to provide the answer maybe at a later date. Senator Mundigi.
Asante, Bwana Spika. Swali langu ni kwa waziri wa energy. Uko Embu County, Mbere South, kuna damu Kenyan wanajenga inaitwa Kandenge Dam, na kuna shule iko hapo, na saa hii wako na pressure waweze kuondoka pale. Umepanga kuondoa hiyo shule namna gani, wakati gani, na pia wale watu wako pale watalipwa namna gani ndio waweze kuondoka, ndio Kenyan iweze kujenga ile damu?
Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bwana Waziri, you've provided in your response the total amount of pending bills. The issue of compensation for the people at Konza City has been there for over 10 years. I just needed to understand the schedule that is in place from Treasury, if there are any agreements on how these payments are going to be done. What are the timelines that these payments are going to be done? Was there an effort during the supplementary budget process that you presented your case as far as this pending bill is concerned? And I'm coming from a point that this issue has been there for so long. So is this just a document presented before this House for the sake of presentation, or there's a factual commitment by the Minister for Treasury in ensuring that this payment will be adhered to? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just briefly, when the government was undertaking the connectivity, surely they must have put aside some money for compensation of the people in Kajiado. So the question I wanted the ministry to just clarify to us is that how much was this money, and what is the problem? What is the problem? Because if the money had been put aside, surely there should be no problem in giving this money to the people of Kajiado instead of taking their land and then not giving them, and then the stories begin. What is the project budget that was put for the compensation of the people of Kajiado? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond to those questions.
Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, to start with the question from Senator Manzo. Of course, Honorable Speaker, our agencies and entities work very, very closely together. However, these entities or agencies have got clear mandates, very, very clear mandates in the sector. The mandate of KPLC is different from the mandate of KenGen, and it's different from the mandate of KETRACO, and so on and so forth. Honorable Speaker, the particular transmission lines we are talking about are transmission lines under the purview of KETRACO. And KETRACO is the implementing agency. And therefore, the compensation we are talking about, Honorable Speaker, is compensation of being undertaken by KETRACO, of course, through the National Land Commission, as is required by law. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Speaker, the matter of absentee landlords may sound remote, Honorable Speaker, but the fact, Honorable Speaker, is that this is a reality, Honorable Speaker. There are land buyers, not just in Kajiado County alone. There are land buyers all over the country who, once they have bought the land parcels, don't actually live on those land parcels. And in this particular case, these absentee land owners are persons who actually have got ownership of these land parcels, and since they are not present, they have not made any effort to contact KETRACO for purposes of effecting these compensations. Honorable Speaker, the figures I have mentioned in respect of the various lines are the actual figures. And all these compensations, Honorable Speaker, are undertaken by the implementing agency, which is KETRACO in this particular case, through the National Land Compensation. It is the implementing agency that acquires the land, goes ahead and provides for the budget for land compensation, and then avails that money to the NLC for purposes of effecting the compensation, Honorable Speaker. The acquiring entity is the procuring entity, Honorable Speaker, under the law. And let me also say this, Honorable Speaker, that it is indeed true that it is not just these 4 or so lines that are having some challenges to do with land compensation. There are also a number of transmission line projects, including the one that was mentioned by Senator Cheragei, okay, where landowners have not been fully compensated. But of course, we are in the process of effecting these compensations. Honorable Speaker, it's good to combine that question with the question of Honorable Mungatana, that it is logical, really, that we have the budgetary provisions for these compensations at the commencement of these projects. But, Honorable Speaker, the reality is that many a time, if not all the times, we depend on exchequer releases from the National Treasury. After providing for the budget, as is customary, what follows is the release of the exchequer. Until that happens, Honorable Speaker, you cannot say for sure that you will be able to do full compensation. And again, we do this knowing fully well that we have a duty as a country and as a ministry to continually upgrade or improve our infrastructure for not only transmission, but also for distribution. So it's a delicate balancing act, Honorable Speaker. Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I'm waiting for the question of Konza again. Same situation, Honorable Speaker. And we are working tirelessly as a ministry to ensure that in the fullness of time, all these cases of compensation are completed. The Honorable Speaker, there is the question of the Katheke Dam project in Embu County. This project is at the preliminary stage, and engagement by Kenyan with the affected communities will be taking place in due course. And proper and complete feasibility study is going to be undertaken, Honorable Speaker, to be able to determine the extent to which the communities will be affected, including the school, Honorable Speaker, and how they can be addressed, Honorable Speaker. Finally, Honorable Speaker, even though it is not related to the question that was asked, the Honorable Senator Mohamed Faki's question about a refinery, I will confine myself to the refinery in Changamwe. Honorable Speaker, a refinery business is a matter of commercial logic. It must make commercial sense for one to undertake a refinery business, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Speaker, the refinery in Changamwe, due to the economics, was found not to make business sense. And that's why, as a matter of fact, operations at the facility were discontinued. However, Honorable Speaker, even with the impending drilling of oil in South Lokichar, and Honorable Speaker, let me say this from this podium, that for the first time, Kenya is going to commercially produce oil. In any case, before the end of this year. We have gone through all the necessary processes, and the last 2 weeks or so, I was in Lokichar to undertake a groundbreaking for operations in that region, and we are sure that by the end of this year, we shall be producing crude oil from South Lokichar. That notwithstanding, Honorable Speaker, the quantities envisaged to come out of South Lokichar are not adequate to run a commercial refinery. From the beginning, we shall be producing about 20,000 barrels per day, which will progress to some 50,000 barrels per day. Honorable Speaker, petroleum economists tell us that you need some 300,000, 500,000 barrels per day to be able to run viably a refinery. And therefore, that informs the reason, that informs the justification, that informs the basis for the plan to establish a refinery in Tanga that will serve not only Kenya, but will also serve the other neighboring countries such as Tanzania, Uganda, South Sudan, and so on and so forth. It's basically business logic, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
We'll now move to question number 041. You may proceed, Honorable Senator.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Again, question number 041A. Could the Cabinet Secretary state the number of households in Kajiado County that are currently connected to the national electricity grid and explain how the electricity connectivity rate in the county compares to the national average? B, how many of these households were connected to the grid in the 2022, 2023, 2023-2024, and 2025-2026 financial years, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide a breakdown of this data by county and ward? C, what are the planned interventions by the ministry to enhance electricity connectivity in the county, and could the Cabinet Secretary disclose the specific targets and the associated timelines? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
The Honorable Speaker, I will respond as follows. The total number of households connected to electricity in Kajiado County is 365,277,000, while the total number of connections in the country as a whole is some 10 million, Honorable Speaker, 346,947. But let me also put this in context, Honorable Speaker, that by the time this administration was coming into office, that is August or thereabout of 2022, the electricity connectivity in the country covered some 8.9 million households. Honorable Speaker, since that time up to now, the electricity connectivity has tremendously increased due to deliberate actions, deliberate steps taken by the government. And in just under 3 years or so, this number has shot up to 10.3 million households, Honorable Speaker. It is a jump of about 15% in just 3 years or so. That goes to underscore the very deliberate steps this government is taking to ensure that the country is electrified, obviously with the attendant benefits to the economy and to the society generally. Honorable Speaker, to enhance electricity connections or connectivity in Kajiado County, and I've had occasion, Honorable Speaker, to visit Kajiado County a number of times. I've been to Kajiado East, Kajiado Central, Kajiado West, Kajiado North, and so on and so forth. The ministry is implementing some 53 schemes distributed across the constituencies as indicated in the succeeding paragraph. Honorable Speaker, a detailed list of the schemes is also attached for reference in Appendix 1. Honorable Speaker, the ministry through Kenya Power and REREC has been implementing various electrification projects in Kajiado County. Table 1 shows the total investment in electrification and the number of customers connected to the grid from the financial year 22-23 to financial year 25-26. This is broken down for each of the 5 sub-counties or constituencies in the county. Honorable Speaker, REREC has funded electrification projects worth some Kenya shillings 1.415 billion, connecting a total of 4358 customers in the last 4 financial years. In addition, some 310 high masts and streetlights have been funded, thus impacting thousands of households or customers in market centers and key streets, in addition to enhancing security and longer business hours with a positive enhancement to GDP, obviously. Annex 1 contains the detailed summary of these projects. And it is self-explanatory, Honorable Speaker. Part C, the government through Kenya Power and REREC again continues to implement various electrification programs in Kajiado County with a key focus on the last mile connectivity project. As I've said many times before, Honorable Speaker, in some of these counties, it is the first time they are seeing these enhanced electrification programs. It is a first, and only in this administration, Honorable Speaker. There are very many parts of this country that have been in darkness for all these years since we attained independence. Thanks to the deliberate measures taken by this administration, headed by His Excellency President William Ruto, that situation is changing, and is changing for good, Honorable Speaker. The budget allocation and scope under the FD-EU EIB Last Mile Connectivity Project is some Kenya shillings 165,762,491.10. And there is a total of 53 schemes which are under implementation in Kajiado County, comprising of 5 new schemes and 48 maximization schemes, targeting a total of 1,750 customers. The ministry is adopting a multi-pronged strategy of fast-tracking the ongoing projects in various ways as follows. 1, equitable allocation of budgets to each constituency in Kajiado County, leveraging on connectivity and access rates to ensure fairness based on available budget. And this equity, Honorable Speaker, is something we are stressing, not just countrywide, but also within the counties, to deal with historical disparities, Honorable Speaker. In order to further enhance electricity connectivity, Honorable Speaker, REREC is engaging the members of parliament in Kajiado County, and I continue to engage with them directly, personally, Honorable Speaker, to collaborate on the matching fund program, where the cost of electrification is shared shilling for shilling, subject to availability of budget. One constituency, that is Kajiado West, has already benefited from this program to install solar street lights worth Kenya shillings 10 million. And I was privileged to visit Kajiado West constituency, Honorable Speaker, and was hosted by the Honorable MP. Honorable Speaker, provision of full complement of critical line construction materials for all ongoing projects to ensure that they are completed on time. The ministry is also encouraging a close collaboration between REREC and Kenya Power officers to jointly inspect and commission completed projects and to ensure they are metered on time. Holding weekly progress meetings with various contractors, undertaking various projects in Kajiado County to measure progress and sort out any bottlenecks that may hinder completion of these very important projects, Honorable Speaker. REREC will continue working with stakeholders in Kajiado County to prioritize the electrification of public facilities and installation of transformers subject to availability of budget. The full implementation of these strategies gives a definite chance of completing all ongoing projects by the end of 2026. And Honorable Speaker, this is a journey, and we are sure, as a ministry, working closely with all our stakeholders, including members of parliament, that we are on course. Thank you.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Cabinet Secretary for the response, but more importantly, I want to inform him that question A, I wanted to clarify, or you to clarify, in comparisons to national average, because you've just indicated the Kajiado. Honorable Speaker, we wanted to know where we are as a county. Because, Honorable Speaker, if the entire county in the three mentioned years, financial years, we've just been connected 1,750 customers who've received the electricity for the 3 financial years. That is why we wanted to know where are we as a county, because we have 21,000 square kilometers as a county with a population of 2 million Kenyans, and we're only getting to 1,700 customers connected electricity in the 3 years of this government. That is why we wanted to know where, in comparison to the national grid, national
Honorable Senator,
average.
do you want to know, you just want to know for the past 3 years or for the time this program started running? Because the Honorable CS has given you the answer in paragraph, I think paragraph 1 of his response, that the total number of households connected in the country stands at 10,346,947. Out of those, 365,277 are in Kajiado.
Yeah.
So he's given the total number for the entire country and the total number of households in Kajiado. You can draw the comparison from there. But Honorable CS, note that you will explain it further.
Then the last question is the Cabinet Secretary indicated that there is an engagement of the MPs with REREC. Where is the engagement of this honorable member, senator for Kajiado? Why are they not engaging the Senate of this county in issues of connectivity? And is it because of I am a one-term senator? Thank you.
You are not seeking re-election, Honorable Senator Okech?
No.
Senator Okech?
Mr. Speaker, I seek your indulgence. My question was actually in the previous question, and I tried to seek your attention. And
Okay, then have your seat. Unfortunately, we've already passed that bridge.
It's a very important question, Mr. Speaker.
I know, but time is of the essence. We are dedicating these minutes
maybe,
for purposes of
maybe then you can give me the next question.
I will.
Because
I will do that,
Honorable.
Honorable
There as well.
Senator, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Senator Boni?
According to the visionary President Mwai Kibaki, he had a vision that by the year 2030, connectivity in the country would be at 100%. Could the CS inform us where we are as a country and whether we are on track to achieving 100% connectivity by 2030 as envisioned by President Mwai Kibaki?
Senator Betsiengo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to request the Cabinet Secretary to clarify. He prouds himself in the increase of connectivity to 15% by the current administration. How many numbers, or the increase of numbers of connectivity in Kitui County, and specifically Mwingi North, has been done within the 15% increase? Or is it perceived that Kitui County and Mwingi North in particular is an opposition zone? That's why the connectivity is not happening. Let the CS clarify. Thank you.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary, could you tell this House how the power sector is going to benefit from the infrastructure fund in terms of connectivity? Thank you.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable CS, welcome back to Senate. And could you confirm to the nation how many homes you have connected so far through this program that you have been doing? How many homes across the whole country you have connected so far?
Senator Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Honorable Secretary, you have mentioned or you have touched on solar energy. And we know that great powers like even China are shifting strongly towards solar energy. What policy and what efforts is the ministry making to make sure that Kenya makes use of the solar energy that we have in this country, instead of waiting for the sun to convert things into biocarbons that we can tap or into waterfalls? How is the ministry ensuring that this abundant sunshine that we enjoy in this country is convertible into electrical power? And I'm talking about the tax regimes that we have on solar energy, and what efforts is the ministry making to ensure that Kenya becomes a major manufacturer of solar panels and solar technologies? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine, Mr. Speaker, is on Isiolo County, a place called Oldonyiro, where I think there are donors from Middle East who sponsored that particular project, and I hope the PS is here because we have had several discussions where part of the town has been electrified, but part of the other town, which is a sub-county now, does not have electricity. And this is an area of insecurity. More specifically, part of the Isiolo County has insecurity issues. And I know last mile connectivity is going on, but I would appreciate if CS can tell us what he's doing to make sure that the projects that have been started are complete, because estimate for Oldonyiro has been done. What is lacking is budget. Can you kindly fast track that process and make sure that the project is complete? Because some of the government institutions, like schools, in that Oldonyiro has no electricity, while some part has electricity. I thank you.
Senator Wakole.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is to request our good minister to avail to each one of us, the senators of the Republic of Kenya, the statistics of the increment of households in our counties vis-a-vis what we found under the former regime of the former president, so that the doubting Thomases can equally see that figures don't lie. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me proceed to respond as follows, in no particular order. Starting, of course, with the question by Honorable Senator Boni Halwali. We are on course, not just to meet the target set out under Vision 2030, but also our obligation under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 7 on access to energy. Honorable Speaker, the government of the Republic of Kenya, and especially this administration, is not just committed to ensuring universal access to electricity by 2030, but is actively working towards that, day in, day out. Honorable Speaker, as we speak, we have got an average of 75% access rate. But that access rate, Honorable Speaker, that national average could mislead in the sense that some parts of the country are far much high levels, while some parts of the country are still very, very low. Very, very low. That is the kind of disparity, historical imbalance that this administration is correcting, Honorable Speaker. That electricity under this administration is no longer luxury. It is a basic human right, Honorable Speaker. And His Excellency the President has directed us to ensure that we extend electricity to every corner of this country without any form of discrimination. So that as the national average increases, it increases across the country, Honorable Speaker. And coming back to Honorable Wakoli's question, again, and I agree with him, we shall endeavor to provide a detailed response in terms of the increase in number of households connected to electricity from the time this administration took over up to now, county by county, and if possible, constituency by constituency. I am delighted that Bungoma County, where Honorable Wakoli comes from, has made big progress. I've had occasion to visit Bungoma County a number of times, number of constituencies, and I've had a number of meetings with the MPs of Bungoma County. Honorable Speaker, the question by Honorable Seki in terms of engagement of senators, we, Honorable Speaker, endeavor to engage all leaders, especially elected leaders. And a number of times, I call for these meetings county by county. My appeal, Honorable Speaker, is that when such meetings are called, Honorable Speaker, kindly assist us by having the senators also attend alongside the members of the National Assembly so that we collectively address these issues and plan together, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Seki has had occasion to visit me in my office to address some of these issues. And I'm sure one of the projects in Kajiado County, especially the project under the name of Olepolos, costing some 17.5 million shillings, is covering the areas of interest or of concern to the Honorable Senator. Honorable Speaker, let me go back and say this, that once I provided the statistics about the connectivity rates and the increment in number of connections per county, it will then help us determine collectively which areas to address on a priority basis. Honorable Speaker, I will also do this to cover the issue that has been raised by Honorable Senator Beth Siengo in respect of Kitui County. And I've also had occasion to visit Kitui County a number of times. I've been to Kitui East, Kitui South, I think Kitui West, Kitui Central, Honorable Speaker. Yes, these last 2 years, pushing this electrification program and working closely with all the MPs. And as we do so, we don't do on the basis of who is supporting who or who belongs to which faction or to which political formation. No, that is not part of our consideration. We deal with all leaders at all levels, regardless of their political persuasion, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Mbugua, Senator Mbugua, he asked the role that the infrastructure, the National Infrastructure Fund, will play in helping us push forward the agenda of electrification, if I got him right. It is indeed true that this National Infrastructure Fund is a godsend. It's a godsend. In the sense that for the first time, we are going to be able to free the national budget as conceived and approved by the Parliament of Kenya, from undertaking major infrastructure projects, but then allow this National Infrastructure Fund to deal with such projects, especially those projects which are viable. And there are many in the energy sector, starting with the generation, transmission, distribution, Honorable Speaker. So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. This historic fund is going to be very, very useful going forward. And I'm sure it will make a very big difference. I will also address the issue of Honorable Senator Maina when we bring the statistics about connectivity by county. And allow me, Honorable Speaker, again to provide answers, specific answers to Honorable Dulo in respect of the particular project in Isiolo. Later, Honorable Speaker. But let me say this in terms of the question by Honorable Senator Umtata. We are alive to the fact as a country that the world is transitioning, energy speaking. Kenya as a country is in the lead in terms of energy transition in this region. Our national grid is supported by about 93% green energy. And solar is playing a key role in this. As we speak, our installed capacity of generation is about 3,300 megawatts, with solar contributing some 210 megawatts, wind 435 megawatts, and so on and so forth. Whereas it is our intention to continue to implement solarization of our grid, we take cognizance of the fact that solar, just like wind, is an intermittent source of energy. And therefore, we must strike a delicate balance between base load and these intermittent sources. So the answer is yes, we shall continue to employ, to adopt solar technology as we move along. But beside the 210 megawatts which is installed, there are a number of households, private entities, that have installed their own solar panels, which in our estimation accounts for about some 600 megawatts. So solar is here to stay, and we have to harness this technology to continue to light up our country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
We now move to question number 042 by Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Senator Beth. I'm standing in for Senator Hamida Kibwana. The question reads, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the cause of power outages experienced in several estates in Nairobi following the heavy rains and flooding of 6th March 2026, and indicate the areas affected and the duration of the outages? B, what measures has the ministry, together with the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, KPLC, and other relevant agencies put in place to ensure that electricity infrastructure is able to withstand heavy rains, flooding, and other adverse weather conditions? C, has the ministry undertaken an assessment of the vulnerability of substations, transformers, power lines, and related infrastructure in flood-prone urban areas, and if so, what are the findings? D, and the last, what plans are in place to modernize and climate-proof Kenya's electricity infrastructure, as is the case in countries with advanced weather-resilient energy systems like in Japan, Singapore, where we are going, and South Korea? Thank
Thank you.
You've left out A, or have you abandoned it? You've gone up to D.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I had not seen that. E, what alternative and innovative power solutions is the ministry considering for the continuity of electricity supply during extreme weather conditions, particularly for hospitals, water installations, security facilities, and densely populated residential areas? Thank you.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Honorable Speaker, I will respond as follows. That the following were the causes of outages following the heavy rains in Nairobi and environs. One is flooding. Honorable Speaker, substations in areas where surrounding built environment has constrained or obstructed water paths are vulnerable, and storm water overflow to the substations. The affected substations, Honorable Speaker, in this particular respect were Nairobi West, Industrial Area, Ridgeways, Kimathi, and Syokimau. The substations mentioned supply power to South C, Langata Road, Upper Hill, South B, Industrial Area, Ridgeways, Jogo Road, Nolongo, Mavoko, and Katani areas. Further, Honorable Speaker, the flooding caused damage to power equipment and water ingress in above-ground medium voltage switchgear, leading to total failure and damage to electrical cables. 2 fallen trees on power lines, Honorable Speaker. Due to the storms and strong winds during this time, Honorable Speaker, trees growing near power lines fell on the lines, leading to damage of both high and low voltage power lines and transformers, thereby causing extensive outages. The areas affected by falling trees were within the Dagoretti North, Langata, Westlands, and Ngong. Honorable Speaker, the ministry would like to state that since the network needed full reconstruction before the customers were powered back, the duration of the outages was between 12 hours and 72 hours. And to ensure that the customers remain connected to power, the outages were urgently attended to by correcting the defects occasioned by the heavy rains where possible, transferring customers to alternative power sources, and other short-term measures to ensure customer supply was restored in the shortest time possible, while major repairs were being undertaken, Honorable Speaker. Part B, following the floods, comprehensive assessment of the power infrastructure was undertaken. And on the immediate term, the following remedial measures have been lined up. 1, improve the drainage tunnels around the substations in liaison with county governments. 2, engage other entities like Nairobi City County, Kenha, and Kura to clear stormwater passages. 3, engaging the road authorities to consider enhancing stormwaterways when doing design and construction. 4, cutting down of trees in the Wayleave Trace in collaboration with Nairobi City County and customers with trees in own land but which encroach the Wayleave corridor. Honorable Speaker, the ministry through Kenya Power did undertake an assessment of the effect of the floods and vulnerability of the substations. Indeed, the threat posed by floods on the power system is immense and cannot be just wished away. Therefore, from the assessment, the following medium to the long-term initiatives are being considered. 1, reconstructing the older stations affected by changing drainage patterns caused by newer developments to raise substation levels several meters above ground. 2, undergrounding of power infrastructure to reduce interaction with weather elements. 3, usage of concrete poles in place of wooden poles to reduce damage to the power network while ensuring the lines are more robust and resilient to climate impacts. To make our electricity grid more climate-proof and resilient, Honorable Speaker, it requires a combination of infrastructure upgrades, smart technologies, policy reforms, and risk-informed planning to ensure the power system can withstand and quickly recover from climate-related shocks such as floods, droughts, heat waves, storms, wildfires, and extreme winds. Therefore, there is need, Honorable Speaker, to modernize our grid. Modernization of the grid is a continuous process, and the energy sector agencies have been investing heavily in this regard. Further, Honorable Speaker, to improve our network resilience and reliability, the ministry and her agencies have been investing on smart grid. Honorable Speaker, a smart grid is more reliable, resilient, and easier to maintain as the operators can easily detect a fault and restore it. A smart grid, Honorable Speaker, will enhance proper maintenance scheduling to avoid blackouts. To conclude, Honorable Speaker, the resilience of a grid is not only enhanced through the hardware upgrade, but also having a competent and well-trained personnel. Therefore, the ministry has continually been training officers across the sector to ensure they have the right skills to run and manage a complex grid. And Kenya Power has been leading in this. Has been leading in this and working very closely with the Ministry of Energy, the Nairobi City County, Kura, and other relevant agencies working in the built environment. They have worked steadily to achieve stable and reliable electricity supply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Betyengo, do you have any supplementary question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The CS has talked of, the first response was to talk of floods in Nairobi. And we know that floods are caused by other different elements, like when the buildings are erected along the riverian land, and that's why water must look for its way and causes the flooding. How will the ministry handle that to ensure that waterways are open? Thank you.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, mine is actually part of the previous question. Honorable Waziri, first and foremost, I want to thank you for your passionate and commitment in connecting all of our Kenyans. Last time, when you were in Wajir with His Excellency the President, Wajir was promised that there will be a connection of the national grid. So what is the plan that Bujia will be connected to the national grid, and how soon or how fast can be done that?
Senator Lelegwe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure whether the Cabinet Secretary is aware that Samburu County, particularly Mara, is experiencing the worst power outage in the country. My question is, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why Maral Town and several parts of Samburu County continue to experience persistent power outages despite hosting critical national infrastructure? And what measures and long-term measures will be put in place to ensure reliable and stable electricity supply in the county?
Senator Cheragei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the indulgence. Mine is the issue of faulty transformers, because the CS has alluded to fault transformers that is causing sometimes power outages or blackout. So, Speaker, for example, in a place called Kipsamoite, Masab constituency, for example, there has been a transformer that has been faulty for the last 4 years. So my question is, how long does it take for the Minister of Energy or the Kenya Power and Lighting and Company intervene so that we don't see blackout? Because even average in this city, I think we lose, there's always a power outage between 2 to 5 times a day. In Mosori and Nandi County, where I come from, Mr. Speaker, is that we normally have blackouts up to 3 weeks, which even is embarrassing because I live in that area, Mr. Speaker. Can the CS, apart from holding political meetings with members of parliament, tell us what is the concrete plan? I yield back, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Cheragei.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is related to the question that the Honorable Cheragei just asked with regard to the maintenance and management of transformers across the country, particularly for purposes of controlling the outages of power. I ask this question, Honorable Speaker, because the transmission line in Bomet, Narok, which is currently undergoing an upgrade, has largely been a cause of a power outage across Bomet, Narok, and a section of Kisi that line serves. That line, Honorable Speaker, is ongoing in terms of an upgrade. What are the timelines that the Cabinet Secretary could be able to give us to ensure that it becomes operational for purposes of ensuring that the power outage, especially during high traffic time that's in the night, is stopped or at least is reduced? And two, if there is any way the Cabinet Secretary, whether is aware of the Bomet Narok transmission substation, which is actually going to be the holding station for this, the environment, including the land that is hosting that transmission station, is forever dark. I mean, they do not have power. I know, Honorable CS, I've been around that area with you, you know that. I have sought for an intervention. It hasn't happened. If you are able to give us at least an indication of any action taken or to be taken, the people of Kapkwen, Bomet County, will appreciate, especially those who are actually hosting the substation. They are hosting the substation, they have no power. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond. Yeah, we'll take the first set of questions.
Honorable Speaker,
Honorable CS, you may proceed.
Okay, thank you. The Honorable Speaker, allow me to start with the question of Honorable Senator Beth Siengo, as I indicated in my response initially. As a sector, as a ministry, together with our agencies, we can only work with relevant government bodies and agencies. And I mentioned here that we are working with the Nairobi City County, with Kura, with Kenha, to ensure that waterways remain open. We cannot be able to do it ourselves alone, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Speaker, the question of Bomet. Honorable Speaker, for a fact that the area around Bomet, Kisii, parts of Kisumu County have had challenges of adequate supply of electricity over the years. That challenge, Honorable Speaker, is going to be addressed to a large extent by the completion of the Narok-Bomet transmission line. You will recall, Honorable Speaker, that we did some short stopgap measure through Kenya Power. But the ultimate project, Honorable Speaker, which is being undertaken by Ketraco, is underway, and it should be able to come to a completion in the next 12 months. In the next 12 months, Honorable Speaker. That will, to a large extent, help address the issue of power outages in that region. And above all, it will allow us to once and for all shut down the gas turbine, the Muhoroni gas turbine, Honorable Speaker, which, as you know, is not cost effective. This line's completion is going to be very instrumental in helping us make that decision. Honorable Speaker, there has been a problem, Honorable Speaker, with wanton vandalism in some parts of Nandi, Honorable Speaker, County, of transformers and other critical energy infrastructure. We are working very, very closely with security agencies to stem the vice and also to ensure that we deal with these cases promptly. And I will be seeking Honorable Senator Cheragei to provide my office with more details. Honorable Speaker, it is not our practice to take long to repair or to replace faulty transformers, Honorable Speaker. And if there are such cases, Honorable Speaker, they need to be reported promptly for appropriate actions to be taken. Honorable Speaker, again, I know we have got challenges in Samburu, and we are working very, very closely with our relevant agencies. Samburu is one of the counties that is supposed to benefit from COSAP, the Kenya Off-Grid Solar Access Project. Okay? I will be seeking, Honorable Speaker, to engage directly with Senator Legwe outside here to see what we can do jointly to address the issues affecting Samburu, especially areas around Maralal. Okay. Honorable Speaker, Wajir County. And Honorable Speaker, Wajir will be hosting us for Madaraka Day celebrations on 1st June. We are taking some stopgap measures to deal with the matter of Wajir town and environs. But in the fullness of time, we want to see Wajir County connected to the national grid. As we speak, feasibility studies have been completed. Okay? We are basically now working on the financing mechanisms to ensure that we extend the grid from Garissa to Wajir. Again, I will be seeking to engage Senator Abbas and the leadership of Wajir County, including the governor and the other members of the National Assembly, to see how fast we can move with this project collectively. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable CS, for those responses. I've got a long list of members, I believe, asking supplementary questions. And the time allocated for this question is since passed by 2 minutes. I will add another 5 minutes for those questions. And I've got Senator Manzo. Go straight to the question, Honorable Senator, so that we keep time, because we need to strictly comply with the next timeline for the next questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in Kibwezi West, when a transformer is spoiled and takes a month or two without being fixed, Mr. Speaker, the KPLC officials based in Mali remove a working transformer from an existing line and then take it to another. Is there a way the minister will make sure that we have reliable, long-lasting transformers so that and easy to repair, so that we don't have people on power outage for a long, long time?
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question goes to CS on ensuring that funds that has been set aside for projects in particular regions are utilized for that region. And I ask because, Honorable Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary is keen to ensure there is equitable connectivity in the country. What happened with the funds that were set aside for a number of counties in the Rift Valley that was dispersed to REREC, but apparently the money has been spent in other areas? And finally, Honorable Speaker, just a small thing, the issue of way leaves.
Senator Mandago, you know you are entitled to ask one supplementary question.
Allow me to ask this because it affects the whole country, Honorable Speaker. Just one question. What is the ministry doing about your agencies in terms of utilizing the roadway leaves? We have situations where KPLC erect poles in the middle of the roads, even when the corridor is 90 meters. And when we want to develop the roads, they ask us to pay to relocate those poles. And we have said categorically we are not paying. We want electricity. We have given you a freeway leave on our roads in the counties. You certainly cannot ask us to pay to relocate a pole you deliberately put in the middle of the road.
Senator Okech.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the issue of, outages in the country, seeing from my colleagues, is actually not only during weather times, because in Migori County, and the CS is very well familiar with Migori County, we have traveled with them to deal with the issue of electricity. The issue of outages is humongous, and especially it appears like there is an overloading in the grid in Migori. Despite the fact that there is Masaba substation that was established by the CS, there is still a very high demand of electricity because of the ongoing mining activities, both in Keancha and the larger Yatike area. And those outages, it seems like the system cannot be able to sustain the capacity. And the issue of transformers in that regard has been a major one. Transformers are blowing time without number, and the outages in Migori are outrageous. Bona CS, what can be done about these transformers and that issue of overloading? And then, Mr. Speaker, just directly to you, I had sought the indulgence of the substantive speaker because I think the system wasn't registering me in the first question, but it's a matter of national importance that if the CS might get time just to address the issue of shortages in fuel. Most of our petrol stations, Mr. Speaker, despite the fact that the National Standard Council did allow for the issue of standard quality to be lowered of sulfur down from 10 milligram per kg to 50 milligram per kg, we still have shortages of fuel in most of our petrol stations. Bwana CS, what is going on and how can that issue of shortage in petrol and diesel be addressed? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Okech. Lastly, Senator Chesang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is, I've heard the minister talking about many other counties like Samburu, Bomet, Kisumu, and I have not heard anywhere the ministers talking about Trans Nzoia, whereby it is one place where we do not even talk about the outages, but we have places where there are no transformers at all. So, Mr. Speaker, please, I'd like to ask the minister, what plans do they have with Trans Nzoia? I want you to put Trans Nzoia as part of the counties that you are putting as a matter of urgency in terms of the plans that you have. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I've seen Senator Okoli's hand up. I've not allowed you to speak. I just wanted to take note of the fact that I'm aware you've made a request. Similarly, Senator Mariam. I indicated that I'm giving 5 minutes extra time. If you can answer, if you can ask within 30 seconds, I'll allow you. If you go beyond, I'll stop you. So I'll start with Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your generous understanding. Mr. Speaker, my question is about Mandera County, the power traders. Mr. Speaker, when the press...
Well, I was very intentional. That is why I wanted you to ask the question. We don't need stories anymore. Allow her another moment so that she can ask the question. Proceed, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, when President Kamtare 18 of last year, there are some generators came to Mandera, and those generators' status is unquestionable, Mr. Speaker. Up to now, Mandera is in blackout. So, CS, what is the way forward so that the Mandera County has the electricity? Thank you.
Thank you. You see, you've managed. You still have got 7 seconds. Senator Wakoli, under 30 seconds.
Thank you. Mine is the bulk power plant at Nabiole Falls that is in Webuye. What is the current status and when are we launching the project? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wakoli. Honorable CS, you may respond to those questions. And we have got 11 minutes to release you from here, so you may know how to utilize that time.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will address the issue to deal with the issue raised by Honorable Okech. I'm not going in any particular order, Honorable Speaker. Okay? Honorable Speaker, the matter of power outages, it is indeed true that Migori County and the environs, power demand is increasing by the day, especially in view of the expanding mining activities in Nyatike and the environs, Honorable Speaker. Okay? Honorable Speaker, we are clear in our mind as a ministry that working closely with the leadership of Migori County, this can be addressed. How? Honorable Speaker, we have already energized the Sondu Homa Bay Awendo transmission line. Okay? with a substation, a modern substation at Masaba in Korea West, Honorable Speaker, which has brought tremendous relief, Honorable Speaker. But this relief will be felt more once the Narok-Bomet line is completed, as I mentioned earlier on. So in 12 months' time, we expect to see market change in terms of power supply in Migori and environs once the Narok-Bomet line is completed. But above all, Honorable Speaker, Migori County is privileged to host the famous Gogo hydropower plant, which the government under President William Ruto has now undertaken to upgrade from the former 2 megawatts to some 8.6 megawatts. A project being financed by the KfW, that is the German finance, to the tune of more than 5 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. So that project, again, once completed, will help us stabilize the grid in terms of power. Not to forget to mention, Honorable Speaker, the completion and energizing of the Sondu-Ndewa transmission line, which has helped address the issue of power supply in Homa Bay and parts of Migori County, Honorable Speaker. So the government is very conscious that Migori and its environs need to be supported, and we are doing exactly that. Honorable Speaker, Trans Nzoia County is not left out. And very soon I'll be visiting Trans Nzoia County and I will be contacting Honorable Senator Chesang that we can go together with the other MPs. The government has allocated some 1.2 billion shillings for electricity connectivity alone in Trans Nzoia County. And this will help us connect some 12,000 households. By the time we get to December this year, you will see the number of households having really gone high on account of this intervention by the government, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we cannot divert funds earmarked for a particular county or region to elsewhere. And I undertake after this to take the matter up with Honorable Senator Mandago to clearly understand where this could be coming from. And if there's any such attempt, rest assured, Honorable Speaker, that I will not allow it. That all funds earmarked for specific regions must be used for projects in those regions. Honorable Speaker, again, Nabiole Falls in Webuye, Bungoma County. We are currently undertaking a feasibility study, of course, under Kenyan. And this is going to be the first hydropower plant in what was then Western Province. We have taken some measures. I know there was a change in the contractor, the supplier of the generators. There was a change, and because of the change, there have to be teething problems, which we are sure we shall be able to surmount in the fullness of time. But otherwise, we continue to engage closely with the leadership of Mandera. I will be inviting Senator Miriam to also come along as we address these issues. Let me conclude, Honorable Speaker, by dealing with the issue of fuel, as was raised by Honorable Senator Okech. Let me say this from the start. From the outset, Honorable Speaker, we have got adequate fuel supplies in the country. We have got adequate fuel supplies in the pipeline system, Honorable Speaker. All the products, petrol, diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, Honorable Speaker. And this has been made possible, Honorable Speaker, that in spite of the challenges that the world is going through, especially following the turmoil in the Middle East. This country has been lucky to survive that turmoil on account of the very robust government-to-government fuel importation system or framework. Honorable Speaker, the government-to-government fuel importation framework is what has enabled this country to be where it is. Otherwise, we would be talking of something different, Honorable Speaker. Many countries, without mentioning even some neighboring countries, have had serious challenges, Honorable Speaker, that you can't believe. But having said so, the latest challenge that was experienced yesterday and part of today was occasioned by a technical and administrative hitch, which we have since resolved. That hitch curtailed the normal uptake of fuel by some of our oil marketing companies. It has since been resolved, and normal supply is resuming today. I am sure by the end of today, when you go to filling stations, you will be able to get a supply of all the products of petroleum. Honorable Speaker, we continue to monitor the happenings in the Middle East very, very closely. And we continue to engage very, very closely with our international oil company suppliers, the IOCs, together with their local agents, that is the oil marketing companies that work with them closely. And we have got no doubt as government that even in the worst case scenario, this country is not going to suffer any fuel shortage. I just want to appeal to Kenyans to be patient and to bear with us as we address some of these small hitches. Honorable Speaker. And I must thank all the stakeholders, especially the oil marketing companies, for remaining cooperative and working very, very closely with us to be able to navigate these very challenging times, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable CS, there is a question by Senator Manzo. He's already raising concerns that you have not been able to respond to. And also the last one by Senator Mandago as regards the poles which are normally erected along or in the middle of the roads when they're required to be paid for relocation. Those two you haven't answered.
Yes, it's about the... Senator Manzo talked about...
Senator Manzo's question was about repairs of transformers,
yes,
and the efficiency or the effort that the Kenya Power and Lighting...
Correct, Honorable Speaker. Yes, and as I've said earlier on, Honorable Speaker, we endeavor as a ministry, and of course working closely with our relevant agencies, especially Kenya Power, first and foremost, to ensure that the quality of transformers which are procured are up to date, are proper, Honorable Speaker. But secondly, Honorable Speaker, whenever there are cases of breakdown or malfunction of transformers, our appeal is that such cases need to be reported promptly. And we are socializing our officers to be able to respond in time, Honorable Speaker, whenever such cases are reported. Honorable Speaker, there was again the question of KPLC, okay, poles being required to be relocated when road construction is supposed to be done. Honorable Speaker, these are issues that we can address on a case-by-case basis. On a case-by-case basis, we continue to modernize and improve our infrastructure, and working closely with the relevant agencies, which I insist have to include the road agencies, Kenha, Kura, and so on and so forth, and the respective county governments. We can be able to minimize such cases or the requirement to be able to locate these poles in the future if, from the first instance, they are placed at the right places. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Honorable CS, before I let you off, there are certain commitments that you made before the House, and I would like to remind you. One is a commitment you made on the 19th of November 2025 to a question by Senator Honorable Mwendo Agataya, CBS MP, on the data on the level of electricity connectivity in each constituency in Tharaka Nithi County. That information is yet to be availed. A commitment was made on the 19th of November 2025 when you were appearing before the chamber. Secondly, the same date, you equally made a commitment to avail information to Senator Boni Halwale, CBS MP, on the projects being implemented to enhance power reliability in the western region of Kenya. Those two, Honorable CS, are yet to be honored, and that is one way of us as a House seeking to implement or enforce the commitments that are made whenever you appear before this House. Kindly undertake within timeline certain that you will avail these two pending commitments.
Let me, first of all, Honorable Speaker, apologize if there was some sort of inaction on our part. I know I've had extensive engagement with Senator Halwale since then in other fora, but let me undertake that in the next 2 weeks, I will be able to provide those responses and those statistics. Yes.
CS, I'll not allow you 2 weeks. This is 19th of November, 2025. We are in the month of May, 2026. I do not want to allow you to be interpreted to be inefficient. I'll give you 1 week.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker.
Give you 1 week.
Well guided.
And this communication, of course, your officers knows the channels with which this will happen. Senator Boni, I'll not allow you to intervene. I hope in the next 1 week, your responses your information will be made available. If it doesn't, then you know what to do. And as well, I know what to do. Honorable CS, similarly to the one by Mwenda Gataya, I will not allow you to intervene. I have allowed the CS 1 week to respond. With that, honorable members and the CS, would like to appreciate you for appearing before the House and responding to the questions.
The question, Honorable Speaker.
The last question, sorry, I didn't indicate that. The Honorable Senator Murgor is not in the chamber. He did not nominate anybody to respond, to ask the question, but in the presence of your responses, the procedure is that we will transmit your response to the Honorable Member, and therefore you do not need to respond in the chamber because we already have the response with us. Other than that, there is no more question to you, Honorable CS. You are free to leave the chamber. If I will allow you any intervention after I release the CS. Senator, Honorable CS, No, I have released the CS. I have released the Honorable CS. That question, in the absence of the member, is dropped because there is already transmitted response by the CS. Now you can enter. Yes. Give Senator Eddie the mic.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to express my concern. And Mr. Speaker, it's a very dicey place to be because in this house I never want to be in the very bad book of the Speaker of varying your decision or anything. But Mr. Speaker, I think that in the interest of the House, once a member has asked a question, it ought to be a proper questions, Mr. Speaker, do affect some of us variably. And you have seen even in the questions that were asked, including yourself in Bomet, Mr. Speaker, the questions that were asked do affect you. So I would have preferred, Mr. Speaker, that even if the member is not here and the transmission has been done, for the interest of the public, you perhaps could use standing order number 1 to allow in future the CS to just give the adequate response to the entire House and to the country, because the questions are in the best interest of the House and the country, not just for the member. Just a plea with you, Mr. Speaker.
That you raised, Senator Eddy. Unfortunately, the application of Standing Order number 1 is in circumstances where there is no express provision from the standing orders as to what action can be done by the chair. In this case, the standing orders requires the member to nominate someone in his absence. Same case we do apply on statements and even motions. And therefore, we need to play with the standing orders and comply. As you all know, this is a house of record. If we don't apply as it is today, it will affect the same thing. But it's a concern that we should see how we definitely would deal with. So for purposes of maybe additional inquiry, we could look at the response by the Honorable CS so that we can do a supplementary inquiries. I think with that, we can move to the next question. The Honorable CS for Trade is in the House. We can usher him in. We can usher the Honorable CS to come in.
Honorable Senators, Senator Professor Ojienda. Honorable Senators, the CS is here. Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry. Bwana Waziri, karibu to the Senate. We will go straight to the question by Senator Professor Ojienda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will proceed to ask question number 24 to the CS Investment, Trade and Industry. Part A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on the forms of support the Ministry extends to county governments to build capacity for sustainable market management and to ensure uninterrupted operations in key markets, and explain how the Ministry mentors the effectiveness of such support? Part B, what oversight mechanisms exist to facilitate national government intervention whenever recommendations for operational improvements are not implemented fully and promptly, or whenever county-level decisions are adversely impact local economic activity? And could the CS provide details on how any instance where such mechanisms were invoked? Lastly, Mr. Speaker, what proactive strategies is the ministry implementing to ensure the continuity of market operations, promote economic resilience, and protect traders' livelihoods, particularly in high-volume trading hubs across the country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to you and the honorable senators for the opportunity extended to the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry concerning the national government support towards sustainable market management in the counties. Mr. Speaker, in line with the letter dated 4th of March 2026, reference number Senate 4SCOR 17, dated 24th, allow me to proceed and make submissions in respect to the above issues raised by Senator Professor Tom Ojienda. A. Could the Minister provide the details on forms of support the Ministry extends to county governments to build capacity for sustainable market management and ensure uninterrupted operations in key markets, and also explain how the Ministry monitors the effectiveness of such support? So the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry provides technical and institutional support to county governments to strengthen sustainable market management and ensure uninterrupted operations in key markets. Our key form of support include: 1, providing business development services. This is in the form of market intelligence and advisory services to support market operations, micro, small, and medium enterprise. Mr. Speaker, this is informed by the fact that the most important part in the citation of a market is actually information on where people want to trade, what they want to trade, at what price, what is going on, where is there a deficit, and all this provides useful information that the county governments can be able to use, including understanding matters to do with packaging, food processing, consumer trends, and others. The second one is supporting capacity building through institutions such as the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, which conducts feasibility studies, market assessment, technology need assessment, and enterprise development training. These initiatives help county governments improve efficiency in the management of local trading spaces. Mr. Chairman, allow me to say that whenever an entrepreneur or any business person wants to set up any business, we offer specific training, whether you want to do soap making so that you can avail the soap into the market. And every month we are training young people on how they can be able to process. And I think counties have an opportunity to be able to facilitate so that in our markets we not only have raw materials but also processed or semi-processed products. And we can be able to tailor-make some of this training to suit the needs of individual counties. If it's a pastoralist county, then we'll be able to work along that. If it's a fish-dominated economy, we can also be able to align our training to support the predominant economic activity. 3 is that the Ministry, in collaboration with the State Department of Housing, developed policy guidelines for the development and management of markets. The State Department for Housing is monitoring the implementation of the guidelines in collaboration with county governments. Mr. Speaker, as you may be aware, we have markets being developed across the entire country, and these are meant to offer decent housing for business people and traders so that they can be able to have a place where they can trade their goods. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, is to also give them an opportunity to participate in dignified trade. It will be recalled that a good number of our Juakali business people work by the roadside. They have to face the sun until late in the evening. Their wares are exposed to the sun, and you can imagine if they are perishables like tomatoes, then it means that the post-harvest loss becomes very high. So in the markets that the government is currently building, our main target is to give dignity and honor to trade, while at the same time reducing the post-harvest losses. The ministry is collaborating with county governments in developing infrastructure such as the county aggregation and industrial parks that provide facilities for aggregation, processing, storage and marketing of agricultural produce. For KIPES and other market support initiatives, the ministry is keen in undertaking baseline studies and market assessments, and as well as periodic progress reviews and field monitoring. Mr. Speaker, we have counties, about 17 counties that have signed to the KIPE, and I want to confirm that some of them have developed very well and are almost at the tail end. And in line with this, we have about 5 that are due to be commissioned, and His Excellency the President will be launching some of them from the month of June. And we invite the Senate to participate in this, because this is a groundbreaking initiative that is going to bring value addition closer to the people. And the idea behind the KIPES is to make aggregation possible, so that if it's an avocado or macadamia growing area, we can have a place where they can all be brought together, graded, packed, stored, and also buyers can have a one-stop place where they can buy. More importantly, Mr. Speaker, is that we are also working to align with financial institutions, with buyers, to ensure that there's a seamless flow of commodities into our markets. We also have an intervention on policy and regulatory support, and through the State Department for Trade, we formulate and review domestic trade policies in collaboration with county governments, supporting counties with market planning, legal and regulatory framework, and advisory on sustainable trade practices. So from time to time, when a county seeks the support of our ministry, we are able to provide support and on the regulatory framework, advisory on sustainable markets, and basically all other issues relating to the market. Through the Kenya Bureau of Standards, Weights and Measures, and the Kenya National Trading Corporation, the ministry promotes standards, packaging, quality control, weighing and measuring of products, and distribution systems of essential products to improve market competitiveness. The ministry also works with counties to stimulate investment and business activity in markets by promoting value addition and branding, linking county enterprises, that's the MSMEs, to domestic and international markets. Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that the Kenya Bureau of Standards is an extremely important entity in ensuring that the commodities that are sold conform to the standards set for the country. Weights and Measures allows us to confirm that when we are talking of a kg of maize or rice, it is indeed a kg. And Mr. Speaker, all these are facilitative support we give to the counties. The ministry also coordinates with various state corporations, such as the Warehouse Receipting System, the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, KEPROBA, and the Kenya National Trading Corporation, and collaborating with development partners to support counties through trade promotion programs, market development initiatives, access to trade information, and export opportunities. The multi-agency approach ensures that counties receive a comprehensive support for market sustainability. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that all this multi-agency approach is brought together through my ministry to ensure that all the problems relating to our markets are solved. And on the invitation of any county government that wants support, even a clinic, to ensure that we sensitize them, we are always available. The warehouse receipt system, established under the WRS Act of 2019, supports the ministry in strengthening sustainable agricultural market systems and enhancing the capacity of county governments to ensure efficient and uninterrupted operations of key commodity markets through capacity building and technical assistance, certification, licensing, and regulation of warehouse operators, development of structured agricultural markets, policy guidance and regulatory frameworks, and undertaking monitoring and evaluation for effectiveness, among others. Further, Mr. Speaker, the joint national county coordination mechanisms, the ministry engages county governments through intergovernmental trade forums and technical committees. These platforms allow the ministry to access and review trade and market programs to address implementation challenges and align national and county initiatives. The ministry, through its domestic trade function, monitors the impact of trade policies and practices on domestic trade, including markets. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, secondly, is the question by the Honourable Senator was, what oversight mechanisms exist to facilitate national government intervention whenever recommendations for operational improvements are not implemented, and promptly or whenever county government decisions are adversely impacting local economic activities, and could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of any instance where that has happened? The existing key oversight mechanisms that facilitate the national government intervention whenever recommendations for operational interventions are not fully implemented, include the following. One is the Investment, Trade and Industry Sector Intergovernmental Coordination Framework. In collaboration with the Council of Governors, the Ministry has finalized development and is soon launching the Investment, Trade and Industry Sector Intergovernmental Coordination Framework. The Trade IGCF is a structured, co-owned platform anchored in the Constitution, Article 6, 2, 10, 174, 175, and 189, the Intergovernmental Relations Act of 2012, and the principles of subsidiary mutual accountability and cooperative governance. Further, the framework provides an important foundation for strengthening collaboration between the national and county governments in the investment, trade, and industry sector. The frameworks focus on coordination, consultation, and information sharing in timely and aligned manner with the constitutional objectives and economic development priorities. Further, the framework is yet to be formally inaugurated and endorsed for us to proceed to the next steps, but at least for planning, Mr. Speaker, that has already been done. Secondly is on policy and regulatory oversight. The national government develops national trade and economic policies, sets standards and regulations, provides guidelines for county governments, and for instance, the national trade policy, the national trade standards, consumer protection laws, weights and measures, regulations for counties, and many others. Mr. Speaker, is what proactive strategies is the ministry implementing to ensure the continuity of market operations, promote economic resilience, and protect traders' livelihoods, particularly in high-volume trading hubs across the country. The first one is through the Kenya National Trading Corporation as the anchor of state initiatives to create a price stabilization for essential products. And to this end, we address the rise in the cost of living, and the Cabinet approved a framework to position the Kenya National Trading Corporation as the anchor of state initiatives to create a price stabilizer for essential products. As such, KNTC, as a trading company, has always supplemented other state initiatives by creating strategic reserves for staple and essential food items. Vital farm inputs, including fertilizer and any other goods necessary for ensuring stability in the prices of core goods consumed in the country. Mr. Speaker, it will be remembered that in areas such as Moya, where we produce rice, we have been having a program to buy from the farmers. And this has been very useful in helping us to create stability. Secondly is modernization of wholesale and retail markets across the country. The ministry is working with the national and county governments to develop and modernize wholesale and retail markets across the country. This will ensure smooth market operations and accommodate growing trade populations. This is through identification of areas where new markets can be constructed and also expanding the existing ones. Mr. Speaker, one important matter around the modernization of markets and creating dignity around the trading community is that when you have businesses or traders who are mobile and therefore they don't have a particular station where you can find them tomorrow, it becomes difficult for financial institutions to be able to support them. But when you localize them and you can be able to give their specific address, we have found that even financial institutions are ready to come. And we believe that through this modernization, we will create dignity, we will create growth and employment, Mr. Speaker. Third is integration of markets with the county aggregation and industrial parks to link production with trading centers. This will reduce congestion in major hubs such as Gikomba, Isili, and Kamkunji, and it will also improve on storage, distribution, and logistics for traders. I have already mentioned about KIPES, and again, I want to say that this is going to be a big game changer in terms of even sourcing. And one of the areas we are trying to work on is availability of information at the national level. So if we have a company that wants to source groundnuts or avocado or macadamia, when you have the information at the national level, we can be able to direct them to the specific counties where they can be able to find that. And this is because of the realization that the information gap is very big, that there will be a huge demand on one end and a surplus on the other, but because the two people are not connected, they do not get to benefit from that market situation. And therefore, the use of IT is going to come in very handy. Route to market strategy, Mr. Speaker, the ministry has undertaken route to market studies, a strategy meant to strengthen market access and ensure trade continuity. This will also expand opportunity for traders beyond local markets and also strengthen supply chains and export readiness. Mr. Speaker, this study is particularly important because a good number of Kenyans will engage in the production or growth of a particular product and then look for the market later. We strongly believe that a market-driven approach is very useful, where you identify the market, then you come back and you reverse and now plant or engage in the production of the commodities where the market is going to be. And that cannot be made when we don't have sufficient information on what the market needs. So this route to market strategy is very important, and every county has its own unique circumstances. So we must align it to the counties, and also more importantly, to ensure that the actual business people know what is required in terms of standards, quantities, and so on. Trade facilitation and regulatory harmonization. The ministry is working towards harmonization of trade regulations and standards to reduce barriers that affect traders. Simplification of business licensing, coordination, and other state agencies to address trade issues such as counterfeits, taxation, customs, and import procedures affecting traders. This will protect traders from unfair competition and ensure compliance and quality with quality and safety standards. Mr. Speaker, on trade facilitation and regulatory harmonization, I want to confirm that a number of our products are actually on sale even across the border. In my own home county, we produce a lot of carrots that are actually sold in Kampala, and therefore to ensure that our traders are able to harvest from Mount Narok and transport all the way to Kampala and Dar es Salaam and other markets is a responsibility that we share with the counties. And just to also confirm that there are deficits even within markets in the larger East Africa, including places as far as Djibouti, Addis Ababa, and therefore when we give this information to our traders, instead of selling their products at a throwaway price, they can be able to connect, and we are able to reduce the cross-border challenge or bureaucracy that would otherwise intimidate them. Also, connecting them with the markets helps us to deal with the logistics so that they can come together, build the necessary volumes, and seek partnerships with the markets across the border. On prioritization and protection of MSMEs, the ministry prioritizes inclusion and protection of MSMEs operating in high volume markets through giving support such as access to trade finance through our financial institutions, but also through government interventions, including through KDC, among others, and also business advisory services, noting that not all of them may have the necessary knowledge, especially in engaging in formal business. And that information gap sometimes has been a hindrance. So we need to provide the necessary advisory services so that even as they engage banks, markets within and also outside the country, they have all the knowledge required. We also do training on standards, packaging and market requirements. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, is that the ministry is equally facilitating the formation of producer and trader business groups to strengthen bargaining power. So taking 1 ton of carrots all the way to Kampala may not be economically viable. So we need to find a way of bringing them together, benefiting from the economies of trade, and also being able to help them to negotiate, because at the international level, we also need some of these skills that are necessary. Mr. Speaker, we also have initiatives by the warehouse receipting system. The key strategies undertaken by the ministry through the Warehouse Receipt System Council include expansion of the warehouse receipt system, expanding the network of certified warehouse operators across key agricultural producing regions to support structured commodity trading. And just to clarify on warehouse receipting, we are trying to deal with the previous situation where farmers are forced to sell their produce in duress because they need money urgently. The markets may not be favorable at that particular moment, and they need money to meet their bills. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, through this warehouse receipting system, government has licensed a number of warehouse receipt operators. And when you take your produce there, you get a document that is bankable. And you can hold this document. It is one that banks are also ready to cash, and we believe this is a game changer, especially for commodities that are not perishable. In other words, they can stay for a month or two. And through this, Mr. Speaker, if a farmer or percent of the value, then he can be able to meet his immediate needs. And in the long run, they will not have sold their produce under desperation. The image and desperation arising from perishable commodities and lack of market solutions should not be allowed to go on. And we believe that this is one of those systems that deserve the support of all of us. Mr. Speaker, allow me to go on the issue of promotion of structured agricultural markets and reduction of post-harvest losses through certification and regulation of warehouses and strengthening market access and financing through linkages between farmers, traders, financial institutions, and commodity buyers is one very important thing, Mr. Speaker. So when the farmer grows a commodity and they have no idea where to sell it, then we have a big problem. When you have no financial institutions to support, as we await for the product to be sold, then another problem comes in. So the ministry comes and provides that. So digitization and market transparency are key instruments that can help us to have information across and also to create transparency so that a farmer does not end up getting the lists while other players who have come in between get everything. And I think protection of the producer is extremely important so that they can produce more in days to come. The Council operates through the use of electronic warehouse receipt system for tracking commodity deposits, withdrawals, and transactions. This enhances transparency, improves market information flow, and strengthens confidence among market participants. Mr. Speaker, one of the known trends, especially in agriculture, is that when people produce wholeheartedly a commodity, hoping to make a lot of money, and they don't succeed in making money at that particular time, in the next season, they tend to reduce because of the dented confidence in the market. So if we are able to have a continuous support for farmers so that they can have access to the market, then we will be able to up production across the board. Lastly is on strategic partnerships and stakeholder coordination. Through the warehouse receipt systems, we do collaboration with county governments, farmer cooperatives, financial institutions, and development partners to strengthen aggregation, storage, and market infrastructure. These partnerships enhance the resilience of agricultural markets and protect the livelihoods of traders and producers across the country. I submit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Professor Ojenda, do you have a supplementary question?
Speaker, I have one supplementary question that arises from Part A of the questions that I asked the CS. CS, at response number 4, you state that so far, 5 out of the 17 have been completed. That rounds off to 29% completion rate. Please explain to us, Waziri, why the status of the other 12 KIPES that the national government partnered with county governments to fund, and why the other 12 are not complete, or their current status. You have also stated that KIPES is meant to provide facilities for aggregation, processing, and marketing agricultural produce and all that. You then refer to your county, Nakuru, I suppose, as manufacturing carrots. I think carrots are grown, Waziri. Thank you.
Cabinet Secretary, you can respond to Ojenda's supplementary question.
Thank you, Professor. I think the point, Mr. Speaker, is that 5 of the 17 are ready for commissioning, and we'll be able to share those states. Some of them include Meru, Kirinyaga, and I think they are a good case study of how government can be able to align and with the market and also provide a solution. So it does not mean the others are not complete. They are at various stages of completion. And just for information, the KIPES were a joint effort between the national government and the county governments. What I would want to state at this point is that the government has provided 100% of all the funds for the 17, and the counties were to provide the balance. But, Mr. Speaker, a similar question has been asked before the Senate, and we'll be able to provide a detailed answer on this issue regarding where each particular KIPE is, what the government has disbursed, and maybe the way forward. But the lessons that we have learned over time will also be very important moving forward. With respect to the carrots, I did mention that the KIPE stands for County Aggregation. And aggregation simply means bringing the different farmers and producers together, packaging. So I think we need to review our understanding of manufacturing. Really, at the KIPES level, what you're looking at is value addition, packaging, sorting, and all that. Because as we said, in a county that produces, say, avocado or macadamia, a farmer will be doing half a ton, another and a quarter a ton, but we need a center where they can all come, they are graded, they are packaged, and then now that makes it easy even for buyers to know that I want 20 tons, I go to Kirinyaga or Embu and so on. So the idea is to create mini or cottage industries there. And just for your information, we are also introducing cold rooms. So for example, in a county like Nyanza or Migori and many others that are in the fish space, which is perishable, we know that farmers or fishermen for that matter, whenever they catch their fish, they are desperate because there's nowhere to store their fish. So through these KIPES, we can be able to manage the market because you can have your produce, have it for 2-3 days or a week before the market regulates itself. In the areas where we do other commodities such as vegetables like Meru, we have a fully functional cold room which can be run by a cooperative. So instead of you throwing your produce to the market when the prices don't allow, you can go store it for a week or a month, and then you can bring it. So indeed, it may not be the hardcore manufacturing that we have, but in a way, it is part of the agro-processing that is necessary to help our farmers to add value. And we have found that with very minimal processing, you are able to double or even sometimes triple the value. And I think this is really where we are going. And also to encourage, instead of selling the potato, maybe you can do the crisps. Instead of selling just carrots, you can be able to package them in long life and they can stay for a month and so on. So I think this is a conversation we want to have with our cooperatives, with our farmers and our business people, and to say that the opportunity is with us here. Thank you.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank you for schooling Professor Senior Counsel Ojenda on the meaning of aggregation. Senator Boni Kalwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to congratulate the Minister. Not many members in this House will know that he was my colleague in Parliament in 2002 to 2013. Yes, now they know, especially junior people like Kenya here. Mr. Speaker, before I raise my question, I would like to draw the attention of the Minister to the provision of the Constitution of Kenya, 4th schedule, that divides functions between the national and the county governments. And Article 187 In fourth schedule, Minister, the function of markets falls squarely with county governments. And in 187, the Constitution goes further and tells you in subsection 2 that if a function or power is transferred from one government to one level to another government at the other level, B, constitutional responsibility for the performance of that function or exercise of power shall remain within the government to which it is assigned by the fourth schedule. Now, we have seen as legislators that the national government, your ministry, and the office of the president, and the president himself, have taken the lead role in this particular exercise, especially CAIPS, and to a large extent, most of the markets in the country. Could you explain why the cabinet is not abiding by the Constitution, is attempting to take away function that has been given to county governments? And yourself, you have been a very successful governor in Nakuru. You've just told us that the president is inviting us to join them when he'll be launching other such functions. Why do you want us to come to be witnesses when you're breaching the Constitution of Kenya? Finally, but not least.
Senator Kalwale only allowed one supplementary question.
Yes, it is the same question, but
in a different format.
It's the same question, Mr. Speaker.
The same question. That question has been
the
well
same
understood.
Question. That was A of that question. Now I'm going to
B. Will be a second question. Senator Boni Kalwale.
Mr. Speaker, most obliged.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, I'll be straightforward to the Minister because he has mentioned a number of areas that concern me in Migori County, and I want to just condense it into the issue of market access, particularly on two commodities that you've mentioned expressly, maybe by passing, but not specifically going to how they are currently manifesting in Migori County. Waziri, the first commodity that I wanted you to make clarity about how your government is supporting market access is the issue that you just mentioned on cottage industries on potatoes. In Getonganya, that is in Mabera, there is 100-ton daily production potential for a potato factory that was placed there by European Union and partly by your government that is not functioning, and 6,500 farmers are experiencing serious losses because of middlemen in Kuria. And they are producing this potato that you are talking about very well, that they should make 2 crips, but this has been a pipe dream that has not happened for the last 5 years. Could you please give us a status report on that particular commodity, the potato in Getonganya in Kuria West constituency? And then the last commodity that you have also touched but has continued wallowing in Migori County is actually gold, which is very, very important in the country. And Mr. Speaker, the ministry that would think about helping our artisanal farmers, or rather miners, technically, has been doing it very well, which is the Ministry of Mining, in terms of just providing the technical and the support that is needed to some extent. But for this particular ministry, Waziri, I wanted you to give us a status report in terms of how are you supporting Migori miners, be it in Kiancha, be it in Masara, be it in Nyatike, in terms of centralized and value addition, when you think about issues around establishing a joint refinery as well as centralized export systems, which you have indicated will be very key in terms of cottaging this particular area, so that the gold price in Migori County is also not left to middlemen, and they're not making money out of it, yet most of them are artisanal miners, and don't have capacity to access better markets and better infrastructure to be able to make money out of their sweat in the gold mines. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Mariam Sheikh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is, first I have to thank the CS and there's 13 county project which has been flagged out as under the CAIP, and among them is Mandera. And as the CS alluded, that most of these projects status is not known. Now, we as the House team report the status of all the projects which are there. But my question is CS aware that most of these projects which has been completed as CAIP, it is not in use? One, because of some essential things like water, electricity, and the role accessibility to the market. So what is the way forward and what is the measure that this market which has been completed can be used? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mariam. You do realize that the county governments also have a role to play, but we'll allow the CS to reply. Senator Siango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the response to the questions, the primary question, the CS mentioned that the ministry helps county SMEs by linking to domestic and international markets. Can the CS give examples of county and SMEs that they have linked to international markets and the success rate of this initiative? And as a response to that, Mr. Speaker, in Kitui County, we produce a lot of dengue. I would like to know the strategy the ministry is using for value addition and marketing of dengue from Kitui and other dengue-growing counties. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Maybe we can allow the CS to answer the 4 supplementary questions, and then we take another 4. Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to start with the questions as raised by the Honorable Kalwale, and indeed to confirm that we were together in the 10th Parliament. So the first is the responsibility of markets lies with the county governments. I think that's correct, and it's well articulated in the Constitution. But we must also agree that there's that which the counties have been able to achieve, and whenever county governments come forward and seek support in delivery of a particular function, they can enter into an agreement with the national government, which is the case in the market scenario. So when we say that the markets are complete and we will be doing the commissioning, this is in collaboration with the county governments. In fact, the governors have written to us, we are now complete, and we would want to launch these markets. And because the national government has contributed half, while the county governments have contributed half, then we also have a responsibility to ensure that the resources put by the national government are actually put into good use, are complete, and more important, Mr. Speaker, to appreciate that although there are these very hardline distinctions between national and county governments, to the ordinary Mwananchi, what they want is service delivery. And there are many components within the CAIP that are delivered by the national government. For example, power. Also we have issues to do with water, issues to do with roads. Because again, if you come up with a market that is logistically inaccessible, even if